Hello, and welcome back to Under the Orange Lights, a live webcast that connects the OTF community with industry experts. I'm your host. I'm Dr. Rachel Reed. I'm an exercise physiologist and OTF's Senior Director of Health Science and Research. And today I'm joined by one of our favorite OTF members, Mommy Theory, Connie Cantu. If you haven't met Mommy Theory yet, Connie, she has a fantastic social media presence where she shares all about her health and fitness journey. I know she is so inspirational to so many fellow mothers, so many OTF members. And whether you're a stay at home mom full time, or you're a full time working mom, or you have a mom in your life that you love, it was just Mother's Day, of course, this conversation is sure to leave you with some inspiration. In our conversation today, we'll cover so much, including Connie's personal experience with exercise and OTF, the importance of keeping commitments to yourself as a mom, and so much more. So, Connie, welcome. Thank you for being here today. We're so happy to talk to you.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Oh, well, good. And just a reminder to everybody who's tuning in live, make sure you drop any comments or questions into our chat box because we'll be able to answer them on the spot. We would love to see where you're tuning in from. And of course, any questions that you have for us. Rachel says, looking good, Con, and we could not agree more. She looks amazing, confident, fit, fabulous, so
Thank
awesome. So,
Thanks.
Connie, I love it. You already have a fan on here. This is perfect. So, let's start by letting the audience get to know you a little bit, right? If they've looked you up on Instagram or heard of you before, they know you're a mom of three, that you're a regular exerciser at OTF. But tell us a little bit more about you and your story.
Okay, so just a little bit about me. I grew up in a very small town in a really big Hispanic family, and I have 4 siblings, and we are pretty close in age. So we definitely had a really fun childhood and memorable times. I guess I had a pretty average high school experience. I did choir, I played sports, I played tennis and volleyball all 4 years. And for me, pretty early on in my life, I knew that I was super passionate about hair. And so I decided to pursue my career as a hairstylist in my senior year. And immediately after high school, just went right into working in the hair industry. And then I got married to my high school sweetheart, and we had to move across the country,
Oof.
2,000 miles from Washington State to Wisconsin.
Wow.
For him to pursue his career. And during those 4 years is when I had my kids. And that was a very fun chapter of our lives. But for me personally, it was kind of a lonely experience being away from family and friends and being a mom, and just those early motherhood years, I definitely felt alone. And, due to him having his attention being fully on his career, which is totally understandable, and I knew exactly what I was signing up for. But so we moved back here to Washington, and I was able to start working again. And I thought it would be a great idea to build a salon in my house. So I was a full-time working woman and a full-time stay-at-home mom. Had my
Wow.
I had my 3 little toddlers at home while I would service my clients, and that was great. But eventually I just decided, I should focus on being a stay-at-home mom. And that's where I'm at right now. I have a 10-year-old, 9-year-old, and a 6-year-old. And I love being a stay-at-home mom.
Well, thank you so much for sharing a little bit more about you and your journey, as a professional and as a mom, because I can't agree with you more. One of the things that I experienced when I became a mom, and my son is 3, so I'm not like a pro like you, but hopefully someday. But I think I wasn't expecting it to be so lonely. It can feel very lonely, especially when you have little kids, and it's so exhausting sometimes, but also so fun and enjoyable and rewarding. So I'm glad that we have that experience in common. So Okay, so we know you have this Instagram page, and one of the things that we learned about you is that you actually kept it private for quite some time, right? So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I made my Instagram page. I don't know why I made it. I just thought that I would use it as a tool to kind of keep myself accountable. It was a private page. I had no zero followers. I was doing it for myself, like kind of just to keep myself accountable, I guess. And it wasn't until my the first time I put together a before and an after photo of myself for myself that I realized, like, wow, I'm actually doing something. Like, I'm actually accomplishing something. And people in my real life just started commenting and asking questions. So it was really scary to make my page not private, but I decided to do that and start sharing my journey. And it has just evolved into this little platform. And it helps me as much as it has inspired others. And just, I don't know, I can't believe it's what it is right now. It's crazy.
Well, and I think it's a testament to you working so hard. And one of the things that we know is really difficult about somebody's fitness journey and even their journey to like health and wellness is that it takes time and it
Yeah.
also takes commitment. And so talk to us about how OTF sort of helped you. How did you find OTF and what role has it played in your journey?
So, Orange Theory came to our area at a time in my life when I just feel like I was not happy with myself and just I was tired of trying all these little fitness things, these little, online workouts and programs and fad diets and all these things. And it just came to me at a time when I personally needed it the most. I saw an ad on Facebook. I watched the little trailer that they had, and I just immediately felt like a connection to Orange Theory. Um, I'm sure at the time my husband was like, she's going to sign up for this and never go. Like I know he wanted to say that to me. He never would say that, but um, I just knew. Somehow I knew that Orange Theory was going to be the gym that changed my life. And so I signed up as an OG member in 2017 and never looked back since. And it wasn't until like a couple months into it, like I was going and I loved it to begin with, but it wasn't until a couple months in where I decided to, make a plan that I was going to stick to consistently and start focusing on a transformation for myself. And that's when I started going to Orange Theory routinely 4 to 5 times a week. And eventually I was able to lose 40 pounds and
Wow.
I've kept it off ever since. And I don't know, like Orange Theory definitely changed my life and my physical transformation as well as my mental and emotional transformation. Like who I am as a person right now, I would have never imagined myself being, 4 years ago. I'm just so grateful for the growth that I've had as a person and as a mom and how it has affected my life.
Oh my gosh, you're going to make me emotional. And I think you're doing that to people. I think you're doing that for people in the chat too. We have such an amazing hype squad for you. Burpees and Bourbon says, thank you for sharing. Wow. Giselle says, you go, girl. Michelle Brown says, congratulations. Tammy has like a million clapping hands. I mean, I think so many of us can relate to the fact that exercise, like, once you get that self-confidence, it kind of shows you that you really can do hard things, and you
Yeah.
can do that to help transform you physically and also mentally. So I'm first of all, thank you for opening up. I feel like I was getting a little teary-eyed. I'd love to hear in the chat if anybody else has had a similar experience to Connie's where you really like Orange Theory really has changed your life. Like, talk to us about that in the chat if you have similar stories to share, because we would love to feature you on the screen for sure. So you talked to us a little bit about your personal journey, how would you say that fitness has helped you be a better mom?
In every way possible. But first, I just want to say that my kids love Orange Theory for me. They are so supportive of my love for Orange Theory, and it's just honestly the cutest thing ever. And it actually started when they went to my first dry try. My husband took them to watch me, and they just were so, they made like a sign that said, "Go Mommy Theory." And ever since then, they've been so intrigued with fitness. Like the rowers, especially, they're like, I want a rower. They're so into it. And I know that's not what you asked me. They love Orange Theory. They wish that they had Orange Theory. But for me, like as a mom, I just feel like Orange Theory, when I go to Orange Theory, it just fills me up, right? So I just feel so much more energetic when I come home. I'm happy. I'm excited. I just know, I just can't wipe the smile off my face every time I come home. And especially my oldest daughter, she's always just like, she's admires, I can tell that she admires that. And she'll, they're so happy, and they're just like, wow, Mom, you love Orange Theory so much. And I just know that me taking the time to do this for myself allows me to pour into them more, and it just also gets them excited about fitness and health, and it's just a circle of awesomeness. And it has helped me be a better mom in so many ways.
I love that. And I feel the same way. I think exercise for me it's a way to like help elevate my mood, especially on tough days of momming or working or both. It's something that helps me sleep better at night. All of the things that, just like you said, it helps me be more present as a mom. It helps me enjoy the little things, and it
Mm-hmm.
just helps me sort of like not get so lost in all of the details and see the bigger picture. So I love that. And we're seeing so many amazing stories on here too. Tammy says, so true. Our kids are watching and modeling our behavior, whether we're realizing it or not, whether or not we're too busy, which sometimes I'm guilty of that, Tammy, for sure. So I could not agree more. And Giselle actually says, um, she is amazed on how much she can push herself. She's an OG member as well in Clarksville, Tennessee. She has lost 32 pounds on her journey. So crazy and amazing. She loves how it's different every single day, keeps it fresh. So I love that. Congratulations. And Cassandra says, so much yes. I feel the same way. Go mamas. Absolutely. I love this. Okay, so one of the things that we want to talk to you about is making time for fitness as a mom. And so I kind of want to start with this overarching question of like, is balance really such a thing that we can achieve? Like, is it something you can achieve? And like, what do you think about that? How do you balance all of the hats that you have to wear as a mom?
I think that one of the biggest things that has helped me, even though I'm a stay-at-home mom, life as a mom is crazy. There's so
Yeah.
many tasks that you have to do, and so many people relying on you. But one of the things that I feel has helped me is just having a support system. My husband, my mom, my sisters, I let them all in on my love for fitness and how important it is to me. And just having a support system like that, where if for some reason something comes up and I can't seem to find balance, I can always ask for help. And, like my husband especially knows how much I need that time. And so if it's important to me, it's important to him, and we work together to find a way to make it work. It's the one thing I ask for every day, so like, let's make it work. But definitely like asking for help when you need it,
Yes.
and also giving yourself grace, because you can't always do it, and you have to just take the wins and take the losses as they come. And if something comes up and you can't go to Orange Theory, that's okay. It's going to be okay. And just get back to it. And yeah.
I love that you talked about the support system, because that's something that is so important. And actually, research shows us that people who have good support systems and ask for help and let other people in on their journey to fitness, to health, to wellness, whatever it may be, are more likely to stick to it. So I think what you said is so key. And oh my gosh, Tara, couldn't do it without my hashtag OTF Mom Squad. Love you, Con. I completely agree. I love it. So anyway, social support is so important. And one of the best pieces of advice that I ever received as a mom was to ask for help when you need it, because it's impossible to do all the things perfectly all the time. And actually, we had a comment on our Instagram story from somebody who said maybe balance means letting go of perfection and staying present, doing the best you can with what you have. And I loved that comment
I
so
love
much.
that.
It sums it up so well. Okay, so I know we have a picture of your transformation
Okay.
that we can share, because I want to dive into this a little bit more. Oh my gosh. What? How do you feel when you look at that?
Okay, first of all, it was a very cold wedding. Okay. Everyone always asks why I'm so mad, and I'm like, I wasn't mad. It was freezing. But anyways, I'm honestly, it's such an emotional journey for me, and I'm so proud of myself. I mean, what else is there to say? You know, like, I did not believe in myself at that period of my life, and I would have never imagined that I would be living in my 30s feeling more confident than I ever imagined in my 20s. So I'm very proud of the work that I've done.
Well, we are super proud of you too. I mean, the physical transformation is obvious, but it seems like in talking to you, like the mental one, the emotional one has been just as obvious and just as important for who you are today as a person, which is so cool. And actually, Kira just commented, she says, yes, I love the community at OTF. She's made so many wonderful connections and has helped to build her own support system. So I want to ask you, Connie, what do you think about the coaches at OTF? Like, what role have your coaches played in your journey?
So personally, I feel, and I know that my girls on here will agree, that OTF Richland has one of the best group of coaches out there. I mean, I've never visited others, but I mean, they truly, especially the opening group of coaches that we had, um, they are very passionate about fitness, and they really like took the time to invest in every single member. From my experience, I felt safe to ask questions, and even though it was such an intimidating time of my life to be going into a gym that seemed so hardcore, like, you know, I just felt safe to ask questions and to be vulnerable with some of the coaches. And I just knew that their responses to me were legit and going to be helpful to me. And they're supportive on social media and in the studio, and they play awesome music. So,
That helps.
yeah, a lot.
Well, I love hearing that. And I always say that our coaches are the secret sauce with Orange
Mm-hmm.
Theory, right? Like the coach is the person who's able to translate the workout of that day to the people that are present in their class, and to really connect with them on a different level, to hold them accountable, to push them when they're not pushing themselves, and to help them pull back when they need to provide options for people, to provide encouragement, to notice when someone's really rocking it on the treads, right? Or the
Yeah.
bike or the strider, right? Like the coach really does a lot to bring the OTF community together. So I love hearing that you have that same experience. What's your favorite thing about the OTF community?
My friends, the friends that I've made at Orange Theory, I didn't know them before I started Orange Theory, and now I can't imagine my life without them. So definitely, I go to Orange Theory a lot of the times, even on the days where I don't feel like working out. I go because I got a text from them, like, I'll be there tomorrow, and I'm like, hey, I have to see you. Like, that's our hangout. But no, definitely the community. I just didn't feel like I had such a strong group of people surrounding me at all times as much as I feel that now.
I love that. And OTF actually says preach in the comments. So so that's great. And Giselle had a comment about our coaches too. She says knowledgeable and passionate about health and wellness. OTF for life. We completely agree. So Connie, to wrap up, we had a couple of audience questions from Instagram talking about balancing fitness with motherhood, of course. And the first one is, when you had really little kids, so newborns, toddlers, were you able to balance working out with all the things that you were doing, right? You told us you were like running a full-time business out of your home while you also had 3 little kids with you at home. Like, talk to us about that phase of your life and fitness and how that kind of all fit, or maybe didn't and it wasn't time for fitness.
Yeah. So like I mentioned, my early motherhood years, I was alone in Wisconsin in a tiny apartment with, at the time, majority of the time, 2 babies in diapers.
Woo.
So, I mean, I do recall like doing some home programs here and there, but I also recall my kids, thinking I was monkey bars and trying to hang off my limbs while I'm doing squats or whatever it was. And honestly, I mean, I feel like I put a little bit of effort in, but I really didn't have the knowledge that I have now. I wish I could go back and have the same knowledge that I have now and be able to apply it to my life then. But it is what it is, and I didn't. So as they got older, I joined some gyms here in town, and they had childcare, but I just really didn't know what to do at the gym. Like I felt intimidated and I didn't really know what to do. Like, I just feel like we didn't really learn about fitness growing up, especially our generation. Like, that wasn't
I
something
agree.
that, it was kind of frowned upon for women to lift weights. And like, I just wish I would have known, 10 years ago that this is how you do it. And without Orange Theory, I would have never learned all of these tools that I have now.
Well, I think that's amazing. And if you can see, the chat is literally blowing up as you're talking. This makes us feel warm inside. Go Connie, such a great workout friend and motivation. And as you were talking about your experience with little kids, like, I felt very much the same way, trying to figure out, I travel a good bit for work, and have a little kid too. And so trying to figure all of that out, I think I also want to say for moms, like, and for anybody, your fitness journey is going to ebb and flow as your life changes, right? And
Yeah.
that's okay. And I think being as consistent as you can be given the situation you're in is the important thing. And as you mentioned, when the time is right, finding the support system to help you is so key. So
Yeah.
I love that. Jillian says, my mom life thrives because of my OTF life. The best way to kickstart each morning and feel energized for my day with my kiddos. I could not agree more. I also tend to hold myself more accountable if I work out first thing in the morning. If I'm like, I'll do it later. Sometimes mom life gets in the way and I don't do it later. I don't know about you, Connie.
Yeah. No, the second my kids come home from school, it's no longer about me.
That's it. Yeah, I totally can relate. One more question, and this is for older kids, right? Like, once you have kids that are a little bit older, like how yours are, how do you talk to them about fitness and wellness and exercise? Do you encourage them to be active? You said like they love Orange Theory, they encourage you on your journey. How do you talk to them about staying active?
I oftentimes show them my photos, my before and afters, and my littlest one, he gets so upset. He thinks the before photo is not me. He's like, that's not you, Mom. That's not you. And I'm like, it was me. And this is why it's so important to stay active and to not sit on your butt all day and watch TV. I mean, especially, I don't want to bring up the pandemic because nobody wants to talk about that, but especially during that year, so important. And I think they learned so much. I had to learn how to do this on my own.
Yeah.
Fitness. I didn't have Orange Theory. So that was like such a nice time to be an actual example to them in real life, and for them to watch me and for me to encourage them to come out with me and move along with me. And thankfully, so far, they're into it and they love it. And I haven't really had a problem motivating them to move and get a little fitness into their life. So they think it's fun. And I think it's because I think it's fun.
Yeah.
And they see how much I love it. And they're just like, oh, I want to be strong like you. And they're always like flexing their muscles. And, you know, it's definitely leading by example is the number one way to show your kids how to want to be involved in fitness and eating well and healthy and all that.
Yeah, well, and I think I can confidently say that you are leading by example, and you're doing that for your kids. You're doing that for the OTF community at large, and you've certainly done that here throughout our conversation tonight. So thank you so much, Connie, for sharing so much inspiration with us and for sharing your journey. We've certainly learned a lot, and we've loved getting to talk to you.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so honored.
And if you guys want to follow along with Connie's journey, make sure you follow her on Instagram at Mommy Theory. Thank you all for being part of Under the Orange Lights, which is a live webcast dedicated to connecting the OTF community to industry experts ready to answer all of your questions about fitness, health, and more. Make sure you subscribe to our channel so that you never miss an episode. Until next time, stay healthy, Orange Nation.